So, DMC 6 might never come. Tune in the midsummer time when we discuss how this character arc paid off in an anime gacha game.
Rest. You will not be disturbed.
What should I give you back? Is there something you want?
I'm not financially recovering from this. Punishing Gray Raven X Devil May Cry is out, and honestly, it is a blast. To not make a long intro, this is a love letter to the game that basically inspired it. From the way they ported DMC's combat and iconic characters, it's as accurate as it can be. But what stood out to me was the story of the collab and the care it had for these characters themselves. This isn't just some, haha, it's funny, they're here. No. This is the same Dante and Virgil after the events of Devil May Cry 5, as they get sucked into another universe. I mean, since we're really thirsting for content, there's gonna be DMC 6 or DMC 5 Royal. You get what I mean. There is a lot of content here to fill the empty hearts of DMC fans. So let's talk about Devil May Cry X Punishing Gray Raven, and the care put in with this franchise for the collaboration to be smokin' sexy.
What you lack is this.
Dante is not much different. Dante's already been a grown character throughout the 5th game, so he's not too different here with Virgil. He's kinda just more excited that he's in a place that isn't just filled with demons and has people, and doing so with his brother. So Dante being Dante is kinda chillaxed and is more just along for the ride, similar to how he was in Devil May Cry 5 when he went to follow Virgil and trusted Nero with handling the surface. I think you learn more about Dante with the story as well as a certain part of the story that I think is really worth mentioning, but that's not till we get there, so let's focus on the other son of Sparta, Virgil.
Have you decided which one of you will die first?
Virgil!
Okay, awesome intro out the way. Virgil's really nice this time around. Virgil is very different from how he usually is. After everything Virgil went through as a person with V, Urizen, and ultimately himself in Devil May Cry 5, it has shaped who he is as a person for the better. And he's definitely new to interacting with others and trying to be human, but he's at least trying. But what really has Virgil learned from the events of Devil May Cry 5? Staying true to himself and never compromising. For one, he looks back at his experience as Urizen as a compromise to who he is as a person. A desperate attempt to beat Dante, which ultimately failed. And on the side of V, Virgil watched as Urizen killed senselessly for senseless power. It made Virgil realize how far he was from his original goal, getting power to protect others. And he learned that real power doesn't come from just strength.
In the pursuit of power, I once forsook my humanity, yet found myself still unable to defeat him. Here's some counsel for you. Remember the inner fire that propels you towards strength. And always keep in mind the purpose for which you fight.
But also going forward, Virgil realizes that being who he is what will propel him forward. In Mission 18, Virgil asks that iconic question, that if they change spots, would their lives be different? Well, now Virgil finally has that answer.
That day, if our positions were switched, would our fates be different? Such conjecture holds no more weight. I am what I am, and I shall never lament the path I've chosen.
The dude has changed a lot, and I hope that when DMC 6 actually happens, we'll get to see Virgil grow more and more. When interacting with the player, to end this, Virgil is kind of awkward. He is still really new to trying to be nice, but it's getting there. You'll see it.
Why inscribe my name, you ask? For it is a gift granted by you. It is but natural to mark one's own possession with their name. Thou dost smile. I sing thee while sweet joy befall thee. Nothing, I'm just reading.
He probably hasn't talked to anyone in like maybe 20 years, but you know, he'll manage. I mean, he has a set. This title of the game's chapter is titled Lamento di Phantasma, and is a long tale, about 14 to 15 chapters with a lot of lore put in it that is worth your time if you're a long-time Punishing Gray Raven fan. But this will mainly focus on the Sparta twins' appearances and the story revolving around them. Long story short, Dante and Virgil were dragged here by a Thomas Hell, a scientist with the usual failed experiment shtick. They trial, they fail, they trial, they fail, they trial, they fail, but one day, the trial works, and this experiment opens the gates of hell onto the universe of Punishing Grey Raven. The brothers are initially split apart and puts the brothers on separate paths. For a while, Dante becomes indirectly a hero, saving the town of New Oakley when he got there, and thus answering the call to any of the bases on Earth that were attacked by hell. While Virgil was pulling a Zorro and was kinda lost. Instead, there was another person that was showing up, looking like Virgil committing crimes and leading the demons, framing Virgil for the crimes that this time he hasn't done. Dante runs into our protagonist and his team, the Grey Ravens, which consists of Lucia, Lee, and Liv as they get caught up in a demon ambush. Dante being Dante is not taking it as serious. These demons are mainly small fry to him, but he also recognizes that this is a very serious situation to them and levels with them. He agrees to help and also explains that these aren't the usual foes that they face, and these are demons, which shocks the unit altogether about mythical demons being a reality, especially when they are fighting their own hell on Earth, the Punishing Virus. When they head to New Oakley, Dante is basically a hero in that town. They're in love with his immense strength and super approachable attitude. He's been relaxing in New Oakley for the time he's been there, and when they get the chance to sit, Dante drops the bombshell on Grey Raven that he isn't from this world either, which proves the multiversal theory true, and sends both the unit and the top brass of the unit into a frenzy, as on top of the new threat of demons, they have to deal with the fact that a multiverse is a reality. Dante agrees to help, he just needs a way home, which they agree on, but they show Dante footage of the supposed Virgil killing people again, which gets Dante really serious. He knows Virgil wouldn't do this, not after all he's went through, but if he's really causing problems again, Dante is ready to deal with him for good. On the flip side, Virgil is caught up with someone named Alpha, who is Lucia's clone/sister. Virgil is kind of impressed by the power she wields. White hair, cool katana, a judgment cut, a quest for power. Wait a minute. Alpha thinks Virgil is the person she's looking for, the person dressed as him killing people on sight, and she's looking for a fight. Which Virgil isn't the guy, but you know the Spartans already.
That man. Did you kill him?
So what if I did?
In their fight, they're both kind of impressed with each other, with Virgil surprised at such power. She asks if he knows about the Ascension Network, but Virgil says that he has no idea what she's talking about, which puzzles her. When the demons attack, Virgil attacks the demons, which makes Alpha realize that whoever this guy is, he's not the same guy that's in the report, which he says sorry and asks for a timeout on their brawl, which Virgil, respecting the great rules of competition, agrees and they team up to fight the demons. Dante and the others receive a video call hours later, which is from Alpha and she's accompanied by Virgil. Remembering not too long ago, Dante is instantly ready to give it to Virgil, but this time Virgil has no idea what he's talking about, and that he just got there, which leads to an argument so bad it leaves Alpha kind of surprised. Interrupting their squabble, we meet Laika Hell, the daughter of Thomas Hell, who the demons were targeting before she was saved by Alpha and Virgil, where she confirms that Thomas Hell basically got possessed by a demon, and that said demon is possessing these other demons to attack. Dante and Virgil haven't heard of this one, not because he's almighty, but because the demon is probably a small fry. But with the Punishing Virus, this demon has gained immense power, which means he's gotta go. Dante, Virgil, and the others agree to meet in New Oakley to gear up and head to the Babel Tower, but at the moment, Virgil and Alpha are nowhere near it. Alpha's bike can't fit all three of them, so she asks if Virgil has a vehicle. Virgil says there's no need and does his great portal opening trick, which shocks Alpha that such a thing is even possible. But Virgil knows it's not stable right now, and it closes as soon as they open it. Convenient enough, though, a couple of people come by in a pickup truck looking for problems, so they got their way. When they make it, Dante and the others are helping the citizens of New Oakley evacuate, as the demon forces have been too hard on the people to just stay there. And so Virgil and Alpha all help with the effort to defeat the demons, which they successfully fend off, giving New Oakley a chance to breathe for tonight. With a chance to breathe, New Oakley celebrates for one last night before they leave their home, and this is where Dante and the Commandant get a chance to speak alone. Remember how I said Dante as a character is more shown off in the story? We're finally here. Dante is a complete character, but we get to see what's really going through his mind as he processes these events. Dante checks on the Commandant and kind of admits himself that this situation is next level for him and a bit scary. The Commandant is curious about the world Dante comes from, and this makes Dante really think, as it's obvious he's not completely human either. He's been thinking that now that he's outside of both worlds, he isn't actually sure which one he belongs to, human or demon, and kind of wonders if his real home was just the short childhood he lived. As he relaxed reminiscing and watching New Oakley celebrate their victory, and Virgil in the corner not really in the group but trying to be around it and socializing with Alpha, Dante can't help but to think of Nero and back home, and how Nero would have never believed what they were up to. The Commandant gets to hear a bit about the world Dante's from. The human world isn't too special, it's average, it's just that demons try to come and ruin it and he goes to stop them, and that the demon world is kinda just a terrible place overall, which puts Dante off from even speaking about it. So, a bit curious, the Commandant asks Dante what he thinks of this world, and Dante gets really serious and honest. I think this world's doomed. A stark contrast to the usual optimism Dante always has. To keep it short, I think Dante thinks this way because there's no fairy tale ending for these people. There is no great savior, no Sparta that saves the world and seals this off. It's just Dante's worst nightmare come to life. A hell on earth with no end. Dante goes back to being optimistic though. People are still kicking and they've got pizza. It could be worse. But this is a very brutal outside perspective for the Commandant, and that maybe this war will never end. After their backup for New Oakley arrives, they fully head off to the Babel Tower to finish off the Mirror Demon, which was camouflaging the tower using mirror reflections. They solve this by basically blowing the whole thing up. When fully exposed, Dante can see the Mirror Demons already watching them from the top floor, which Lee confirms with his sniper rifle. Small detail here, but it's funny that Dante mentions here that of all the devil arms that he's used and sold, the Pandora's Box Briefcase 666 is one of the few he actually kept. Dante and Virgil break through easily with their true devil form, the Sin Devil Trigger, forcing through a path for Grey Raven to follow, and thus they make their ascent into the Babel Tower. From the top, the Mirror Demon watches as the guests from below enter, in which he instantly recognizes that the sons of Sparta have arrived. He's terrified for a bit, but composes himself. Dante and Virgil are right. The Mirror Demon was nothing more but a small fry, but the immense power that the punishing virus holds has him as maybe the most powerful being right now, and if he's given more time, he might possibly ascend past Mundus the Demon King. And if the situation comes that they must fight, he has a backup in the clone of Virgil, the true culprit behind the killings. But in him, another consciousness fights, Thomas himself trying to break free from the grip of the demons, in hopes that he can save his daughter in their internal struggle for control. Gameplay wise, the tower is like the Devil May Cry 3 tower. It's great gameplay fan service, but it's more of a premature version of it, as it's only grown to be 40 floors in the lore. Puzzles, bosses, the usual fun Devil May Cry stuff, and it's fun. This doesn't have much lore in between as they climb, but there's fun interactions like Dante saying jackpot, and the Grey Raven unit genuinely being curious if that's a spell like every other bizarre thing he's done, where he has to explain it's just some word he says.
Try me.
Things get serious though when they make the halfway point. They realize on floor 20 there are people on this tower, civilians with no real power of their own. Grey Raven proceeds to deploy first aid and asks questions. They learn here that the Mirror Demon has been kidnapping and keeping people here for experiments, and grabs them to suck their blood dry for power, similar to the methods of the Qliphotha tree. This leads to a problem. They can't leave these people behind, but they also won't be able to make it to the top if they stop here, as the tower expands. So the Commandant splits them into two groups. Lucia, Lee, and Liv are search and rescue. Dante, Virgil, Alpha, and the Commandant are continuing their assault to the top of the tower, which they agree on, and the group splits when on the 38th floor they find the heart of the operation, Thomas's distorted lab where the experiment was first conducted, which they begin extracting info as the information here is crucial to bringing Dante and Virgil home. The pieces are in play, but the final piece to their victory is back in New Oakley. In the meantime, Leica has been in the hands of the support team as they continue to handle the evacuation of New Oakley, but something is wrong to her. She's having weird conflicting memories about her life and what's true and what's false, and it's starting to really worry her. When a swarm of demons come to attack New Oakley and the forces begin to be overwhelmed by the demons, terrified for the others, she screams at the demons to stop, which for some reason they instantly stop and obey for the time. Meaning, Thomas has done something to Laika, and she might not even be human. When she rests and calms down, Vanessa, a commandant of the other deployed unit, confirms a detail that is utterly haunting. Not only was Thomas trying to bring his dead wife back with his experiment, he was also trying to bring back his daughter Laika, who died of the same illness her mother had 7 years ago. Laika is a demon, similar to another demon we all know, Trish. She is and also isn't the real Laika, and with the revelation she realizes that she was made with the missing piece of the mirror demon, and if she wants this nightmare to end, and for her to save her dad, she needs to go up there and finish it herself, which the unit obviously doesn't agree with. She's just a child, but if they want to survive, they have no choice, so reluctantly, they let Laika go and have her escorted to the tower. While waiting before they make it to the top, Dante finally asks the big question that everyone's been wondering. Who really is Nero's mom? Dante is curious to meet the woman who grabbed his brother's cold heart and wants to know if they can have a family dinner in a teasing way. Virgil though is really quick to snap back with his own comeback. What about the women in your life? When are you finally gonna do something with them? This makes Dante catch the hint and scrap the idea entirely.
That's enough.
At the top of the Babel Tower, the group finally sees Thomas hell for themselves, or what's probably the mirror demon. He's disappointed that they came so soon since the tower could grow so big with more time, but Dante and Virgil tell him the game's over. He himself says he isn't finished though, and if they want him, they need to beat his reflection, which the reflection reveals itself to be the doppelganger Virgil, the one responsible for the killings, and so they get to work. Gameplay wise, he's a fun boss. This is just the VERGIL DMC 5 fight, playing by the rules of the PGR system, so he's a fun boss to go against. Also, when you defeat him, the coolest cutscene of the whole story plays. And this thing is just pure fan service, it's so good. The Mirror Demon shows himself in full form, but before he can attack, Lucia and the Grey Ravens have returned and brought Laika, who confirms that she can beat the Mirror Demon and reveals what she is truthfully. Realizing the cost of Laika's sacrifice, they get to work, and the Commandant asks if they can separate the entities, which Virgil says he can do because of the ability of the Yamato to split man and demon. The Mirror Demon is a really fun and cool boss fight, I just don't think he's as interesting as Mirror Virgil. So, long story short, we beat him up. When weakened, Virgil goes for it and splits the two. This infuriates the Mirror Demon, and he says that their power was enough for them to be gods, to be rulers, and he threw it away for his daughter, and a daughter that's not really his and just a demon. This infuriates Dante and Virgil, as they know exactly where the hells are coming from with their own family history. This makes Dante yell at the demon for questioning the love parents have for their children, and Virgil to release a calm but equally enraged judgment cut. But as long as the halves are unbroken, he can regenerate with the help of the punishing virus. This makes Laika make her choice. She goes to her dad and tells him she remembers everything, and even more, she remembers that when she escaped the Babel Tower, he told her to live and see the world in its beauty, which she did for the short time she was around, and met so many beautiful people and went to so many beautiful places. But it was time for her to go. So she leaves him with this message, with tears in her eyes. After all this, Thomas should live on for her and her mom. Thomas tells her not to go, but he can't do anything as Laika begins to disappear, exposing the Mirror Demon for good, and causing everyone to strike with a jackpot.
It looks like we have a winner.
Jackpot.
With the Mirror Demon gone, the forces attacking New Oakley crumble, and the demons are no more, making New Oakley safe. And the Commandant and Grey Raven apprehend Thomas Hell. While all this happens, Alpha looks at where Laika used to stand, reminiscing about their short time together, and realizes that despite not really being his daughter and being a demon, she still cried for him and loved him. "So even devils may cry," she said, and Dante responded, "Anything with a heart can cry." Name drop aside, I think this moment really encapsulates what Devil May Cry is about, and also the growth Dante has gone through from originally saying that devils never cry.
Are you crying?
It's only the rain.
The rain already stopped.
Devils never cry.
I see.
As they leave, a poem crosses Virgil's mind and he reads it from his poem book, one that feels right for Laika. "In the southern clime, where the summer's prime never fades away, lovely Laika lay." And that's basically the end. The final chapter involves Dante and Virgil enjoying Babylonia, ice cream and beating each other up, the classic brother bonding. Dante and Virgil make their leave as the science team finds a solution in doing a science-enhanced portal opening through the Yamato, which works and sends them on their way. Virgil just tells us specifically to tell Alpha he's leaving, which we agree to as he goes, but Dante thanks everyone for their time, and of course,
Adios.
it's easy to just add these characters, make a okay story, and call it a day for a mobile gacha game. But Kuro Games didn't do that at all. This is all a huge love letter, a game tipping its hat to its founding father, and not just in gameplay, but with the obvious love and care to these characters and their story. PGR X DMC is really great, and although this is nothing more than just a mobile collab, it really feels like a true DMC entry. So with that, it gets an S.